Hey there guys, Classic Reviewer here. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day or evening wherever you guys are. Today's video is another childhood nostalgia favorite Walt Disney movie from my childhood. It's a early 2000s Walt Disney movie, came out in 2000 yeah, sorry, 2003. That's a hint for any of you guys. It is, of course, Walt Disney's Rubber Bear with Joaquin Phoenix playing Kenai, this bear here. And you've got Jeremy Suarez playing this bear called Coda. So, just quickly show you guys around here. So what this story is, it's basically a story of learning how to love love someone, learning to appreciate life and nature around you. So it's about a caveman called Kenai. His two brothers, Denahi and Sitka. They basically they're living life normally until it comes to Kenai's coming of age ceremony, where basically he has to perform a ritual, and he receives a animal totem of some like emotion or something to live by. Basically, like, he ends up getting the Bear of Love, which something that disgusts him, or his brother gets the Eagle of Leadership or Wisdom or something like that. It's just something to basically live your life by, and until Kenai can learn to love and appreciate those and everything around him, he can't become a man. So essentially, he leaves in a frustrated rage and basically ends up tracking down this bear. They'd they'd basically like stolen some fish from them earlier. So he tracks that bear down, gets into a fight with it, basically ends up killing it, but the Great Spirits, which is the spiritual ancestors, spiritual force that the cavemen believed in. Well, this particular group did, and essentially, by killing the bear, he showed that he wasn't realistically appreciating of what was going on, and not appreciating the fact that it's a bear, it's hungry. It's not going to leave free food lying around. So basically, to teach him a lesson, they turn him into a bear. And yeah, the movie is basically about him. So this is Canine. This is what he looks like in the movie. There. So essentially, the movie is about him coming to appreciate the other side of the story, like how hard it is for bears to live when all men want to do is track them down and kill them, blah 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 blah. But along the way, he becomes trapped in a hunter's trap, and he meets this other little bear, Coda, who I showed you before. Jeremy Suarez plays him. Very amazing actor, talented, very talented. But yeah, so basically, Kenai at first wants nothing to do with Coda. He doesn't, but slowly as they travel along, he starts to appreciate just how much he likes being a bear and how much fun it is, like, being on the other side of it. Well, scary, fun, because his brother Denahi wrongfully assumes that he is the bear that Kenai went and picked a fight with, and wrongfully assumes that the bear killed his brother. So again, in vengeance, he kind of gets a bit unkilted, loses his mind, and chasing after starts chasing after Kenai and Koda. Oh yes, and this is an important fact I forgot to mention earlier. Sitka, the other brother, during the initial fight between Kenai and the other bear, which is a mother bear, turns out to be Koda's mother, actually, funnily enough. He sacrifices himself to save his two other brothers. That's why he's not really in the movie. Oh yeah, it's D.B. Sweeney, who plays Sitka. He's in quite a few good movies. Anyway, back to movie at hand. So basically, Denahi goes on a stalking, hunting spree against Kenai and Koda, who are trying to look for the salmon run, which is right next to where the great spirits touch the earth. Kenai has to go to that place to basically get himself changed back into a bear. And this place has been deliberately placed quite a ways away by the spirits to basically to make Kenai appreciate everything around him, like, make him think of the moralities and what him and his fellow men are doing to the animals without even thinking. One of my favourite parts of the movie is when Kenai and Koda stumble across another cave, and basically, like, Kenai's looking at this depiction of a man versus a bear, man with a spear versus a bear, and it's like really the defining moment for Kenai. Basically, because Koda wanders up behind him, takes a look, and basically gasps in horror and says, "Those monsters are really scary, really scary." Kenai initially assumes he's talking about the bears because that's his way of thinking. Then Koda says, "especially those pointed sticks," and Kenai's just taken aback and like, wow. Because now that he's a bear and looking at it from the other way, from the other direction, it's kind of like, wow, that actually would be pretty terrifying for a bear to see. Basically, and I just love that scene. It's just really well done. It is. So basically, they eventually get to the salmon run, and by this point, they're just good friends, like basically brothers at this point, hence why it's called Brother Bear. Sorry guys, I just had to pause the video for a brief second. So yeah, basically, whilst they're at the salmon run, Koda is basically explaining the story of Kenai and the fight between Kenai and his mother, because at this point, because Koda doesn't realize that Kenai was a man, he just assumes that he was just a bear. And basically, Kenai has an epiphany and runs off to try and hide the fact from Coda, but eventually ends up telling him, which causes Coda to run away from Kenai, and it's just amazing how the scene and music all fits together. The music and the songwriting is done by my favorite singer, Phil Collins. Really emotional and touching. But then Denahi basically ends up catching up to them, and the ending is just basically this fight between Denahi and Kenai, and it's just basically like Kenai's final chance at choosing whether he'd like to return to being a man or stay as a bear, and he decides to remain as a bear because a bear is how he feels he should be, and honestly, I don't blame him because as a human, he was very arrogant, he was very self centered. Whereas as a bear, initially, yes, he had the same thoughts and feelings, but he went on that journey as a bear, overcome the things he couldn't overcome as a man, as a bear. So, yeah, he just decides to stay as a bear, and also he felt as if he became man again and returned to his brothers, to his brother Denahi, sorry, he'd be just rejecting Coda, and out of sympathy and need for Coda, basically decides to remain as a bear. And because he's learned from his totem, he's allowed to place his hand on the wall of men, basically of those who have become men, who have matured, who have learned from the totem. And yeah, that's basically what Brother Bear is in a nutshell. The movie is a bit more extensive than this is, obviously, but again, if you haven't seen it, I really highly recommend you see it. And yeah, like even the second movie, it's not as good as the original, in my opinion, but it is still worthy of watching, at least to check out, because I love the second one as well as the original. The original one I love a lot more though, because honestly it's a lot more classic, and they do change a few of the actors in the second one, which kind of disappointed me, but oh well. So anyways guys, that's all I've got time for in today's video. If you guys liked the video, feel free to give me that thumbs up and comment your thoughts and feelings down in the comments below. If you guys had a particular movie or something that you think I should review, please feel free to comment it in the comment section down below. And you guys especially love this video or my previous videos, feel free to hit that subscribe button to allow this amazing community to keep growing. Alright, so guess I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.